Welcome to the Board of Education meeting that is held in public for the West Aurora School District 129. Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Here.
Mrs. Dykstra.
Here.
Mr. Lathan.
Here.
Mrs. Saperston.
Here.
Mr. St. Jules.
Here.
Mrs. Stone. Here. Mr. Kearns.
Here, please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance. Are there any in the audience wishing to be recognized?
West Aurora High School.
AEAW and Herget Middle School. Freeman. ELA.
Jefferson.
Thank you. I'd like to now turn it over to Ms. Gonzalez for those who make a difference. But when you have
President
public
Kearns?
comment.
Yep, I would just like to note that we do have a comment to item 2.3, and then we have comments to non-agenda item.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, President Kearns. Good evening, board members. For the first part of our Those Who Make a Difference segment, we will be recognizing our incoming student board members for the 2023-2024 school year. So at this time, I ask that Ella Brown, Eleanor Rogowski, and Maya Manaza please stand. And I'm going to hand things over to our board secretary, Joy Engfer, to administer their oath of office.
Welcome, guys. All right, we'll make this easy, so you just need to repeat after me. In the presence of elected school board members and honored guests assembled tonight, I state your name, do solemnly promise and pledge
In the presence of elected school board members and honored guests assembled tonight, I, Eleanor Rogowski, do solemnly promise and pledge
to faithfully execute the duties of student board member to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to faithfully execute the duties of student board member to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to commit myself to the board's code of ethics,
to commit myself to the board's code of ethics,
and to further the goals and objectives of West Aurora School District 129.
and to further the goals and objectives of West Aurora School District 129.
Okay, and now for our second part of Those Who Make a Difference, we are going to be honoring none other than former board president and current board member, Mr. Robert Gonzalez. For the past 12 years, board member Gonzalez has graciously served the students, the families, and the community of West Aurora School District 129. And tonight, as you're all aware, this is last night. So at this time, if I could please invite Mr. Gonzalez to the front to receive the certificate, and then Dr. Craig to the podium to say a few words.
Good evening. I would like to, on two levels, recognize the efforts of outgoing board member, Mr. Bob Gonzalez, and how appropriate that it falls into this agenda item, those who make a difference. For the past 12 years, in your role as board member and board president, you have made a difference in the countless lives of students, staff, and community members. And for that, we are grateful for all that you have done for District 129. I believe it is safe to say that you are leaving this district better than you found it. On a personal note, I want to express my gratitude for your support, guidance throughout some of the toughest times that we have experienced in education. You are appreciated and have served well, and we thank you, Mr. Bob Gonzalez. But wait, there's more. Madam Secretary, do we have public comment on this agenda item?
We do. Allison Herget?
Good evening, everybody. I am Allison Herget. I reside at 1820 All Shoulder Drive in Aurora. Mr. Gonzalez, You really didn't think you were gonna be able to tiptoe off this board without a final comment from me, did you? Oh, I figured you would. For those who are not aware, I had the honor of serving the West Aurora Board of Education with Bob Gonzalez for 8 of his 12 years, 4 as his vice president. From the beginning, before your first election, when we met over coffee, it was clear the reason you were running for a position on the board was your profound desire to serve the students of District 129 and our community. And you wanted to know, what did I think? Well, I thought it was a great idea even when you called me after your first board meeting saying, and I quote, "What did I get myself into?" Fast forward 4 years when you asked what I thought about your running for board president. Your reasons unwavered from why you ran in the first place. Your profound desire to serve and the words "no-brainer" danced around in my head. Over the years as we worked together, I watched you, I learned from you, and I marveled at your involvement and commitment to District 129 kids and community. It was glaringly apparent. This included your heartwarming interaction with the Hopewell students at their graduations, and supporting them selling their Hope soap at the Aurora Farmers Market, and your relentless support and encouragement of the Success Academy, which is now known as Blackhawk Academy. Through the many challenges that you faced in your position, it never ceased to amaze me how you handled with dignity and professionalism those whose sole purpose seemed to be to discredit, disparage, and make life difficult for you and the district. 4 years ago, I was where you are, Bob, ready to pass the baton to the newly elected board and get on with my life, yet knowing how much I was going to miss these guys and the students. But know that you are leaving the district in good hands. So, vaya con Dios, Señor Gonzalez, and thank you for all you have done for all of us.
Well, Dr. Craig knows how much I love public speaking, but I have my speech ready for today. I just want to say that I'm humbled and honored to have served this district for the past 12 years. Thank you.
We'll take a quick break, get a photo opportunity with Mr. Gonzalez. And I
Sounds
believe
great.
his wife is here. Kenda's, she's just happy to be able to get it. Humble round of applause for Mr. Gonzalez.
We now come to our consent agenda where we have items that we have discussed in previous meetings. Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I move that the Board of Education approve the items contained in the consent agenda for May 15th, 2023.
I second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Dykstra.
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mr. Lathan.
Aye.
Mr. St. Jules.
Yes.
Mrs. Stone.
Aye.
Mrs. Saperston.
Aye.
Mr. Kearns.
Aye, the motion passes, and I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Smith for some introductions.
Thank you, Board President Kearns, members of the board. As a result of your most recent vote, there are some individuals on the personnel report that I would like to acknowledge publicly. First off, I'd like to invite to join me Mr. Trevor Huizinga. Mr. Huizinga comes to us with a bachelor's in sports management from the University of Illinois, a master's in elementary education from National Louis University, and a master's in educational administration from Aurora University. By way of experience, Mr. Huizinga began his educational career in 2013 as a fourth grade teacher in District U46. In 2019, he moved to District 131 as a dean, and then transferred to what is his most current role of assistant principal at Rollins Elementary School. It is my honor to, for the first time publicly, introduce Mr. Trevor Huizinga as the Greenman Elementary Assistant Principal for the 2023-2024 school year.
I would just like to say thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm very excited to join Greenman and become their educational family. I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait for next year to start.
I will say, in his absence, I want to publicly acknowledge that Mr. David Aguilar, our current Dean of Students at West Aurora High School, has been identified as the candidate to fill the secondary English language curriculum coordinator position, but he couldn't be here this evening as he is where he needs to be, which is home taking care of a little one who's not feeling well. Next, I'd like to introduce Ms. Kelly Pearson. Ms. Pearson comes to us with a bachelor's in early childhood education from Northern Illinois University in 2004, a master's in educational leadership from Aurora University in 2013, and is currently seeking an educational doctorate from Aurora University in instructional leadership and coaching. By way of experience, Mrs. Pearson began her career as an early childhood teacher at Blackberry Creek Elementary School in 2004. In 2014, she made the decision to bring her talents to West Aurora School District as she filled the position of early childhood coordinator for the school district. In 2015, she assumed what has been her most current role as assistant principal of the Early Learning Academy. It is now my honor to present Ms. Kelly Pearson for the first time publicly as the principal of Hopewell School for the 2023-2024 school year.
I just want to start by expressing my thanks to the Hopewell staff, all the district administrators who participated, and lastly, but most important, thank you, the board, for giving me this opportunity. It's been a great 9 years. I'm really excited to step into this new role and come alongside all the wonderful staff at Hopewell. So unfortunately, my kids are sick, so my husband's at home listening to this. He's like, can you FaceTime? No. So my mom is here tonight, and my niece and nephew, they're twins, they came, and my sister. And Lori has been my ride or die partner for a long time and has supported me this whole time. So while this is bittersweet, I'm forever grateful for the opportunity, so thank you.
And I will say, as evidenced by Mr. Aguilar's actions and the fact that family are represented here, please know, and it was the case when we first hired them, Trevor, please share this with your family. Although we welcome you into these new roles, it is at home we want to make sure our administrators and all of our staff are taking care of themselves. So if they are not handling their business, you call the HR guy. All right, congratulations again, guys.
With that, we now come to our action items, and we need a motion for action item 4.1.
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the contract between Aurora Education Association West and District 129 for the contract years of 2023 to 2027.
I second that.
It has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Stone. Aye. Mr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mrs. Dykstra.
Aye.
Mr. St. Jules.
Yes.
Mrs. Saperston.
Aye.
Mr. Layton.
Aye.
Mr. Kearns.
Aye, the motion passes. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Smith.
Thank you again, Board President Kearns, members of the board. As a result of your most recent vote, I wanted to come to the podium and acknowledge some individuals based on the approved contract that was just passed. Specifically, I would like to highlight, and please have them stand, Mr. Mike Slough, representing AEAW as a negotiation chair, Mr. Logan McFarland, a member of the negotiation team, Mrs. Jen English, AEAW vice president, and in absence, because he's taking care of a college graduate, Mike Lehman, AEAW president. I just want to, on behalf of the administration, thank all of you as you represent the AEAW and this contract representing what has continued to be a positive relationship with the administration and the union. You represent what we know to be the case, which is a quality relationship that we have with our unions and those that represent them, of which you guys stand on behalf of AEAW. So again, thank you, and thank you, Board of Education. I just want to publicly acknowledge not only these individuals, but the administrators who sat on the administrative team as well. I will say this was a tremendous process that was very collaborative. Obviously, we had perspectives on both sides, but this represents something that's for the betterment of our school district and truly honors the work of our AEAW staff and what they do every day for our students. So again, thank you all. The last thing I will say is part of the contract is what is up for the next vote, which is a review and adjustment of the school calendar, which is why it's on the agenda for today. So again, thank you all. We appreciate it.
We need a motion for action item 4.2.
I move that the Board of Education approve the update to the 2023-2024 school year calendar.
I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mr. Lathan.
Aye.
Mrs. Saperston.
Aye.
Mrs. Dykstra.
Aye.
Mr. St. Jules. Mrs. Stone. Mr. Kearns.
Aye, the motion passes. Do we hear a motion for action item 4.3?
This would great delight, but I move that the Board of Education approve the conference change from the Southwest Prairie Conference to the Upstate 8 Conference as previously presented.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
I have some questions. If Jason would come up, please. Hello, sir. I know you're on the hot seat, and that's okay. I'm okay if you're on the hot seat. While we as a board, and I think a lot of the community know exactly why we're changing there, I think there's a good portion of the community that thinks that we're just taking our ball and running away because of lack of cooperation from the Southwest Prairie Conference. Could you elaborate or maybe explain it better so that what we're gonna be voting on doesn't come across that line? Is that?
Yeah, so I mean, specifically to the promises that were not kept from the SBC.
That would be a good portion of it.
Yeah, so when we joined the SBC several years ago, we were asked, well, when we were placed in the divisions that we were placed in, there was an agreement that we would be reevaluating those divisions after 2 years. With the pandemic, we held off for a year and decided not to pursue that right away. And then after that third year, we said, well, hey, let's take a look at this. There was not an appetite for that within that group at all. They quickly shot that down, both at the athletic, excuse me, getting all choked up talking about it. At the athletic director level and at the principal level, they refused to have any conversation about it. When it was brought up again, this fall, the same type of situation took place, both at the athletic director level and at the principal level. And the difference with this one was we actually came in with a proposal that could alleviate a lot of the concerns that several of the schools would have had with any changes in realignment. Not only was that not entertained, those changes were not entertained, but the athletic directors took a vote on whether or not to have any further conversation about it.
that went down 8-3. So with only us, Yorkville and Oswego voting to even continue the conversation. And so that was troubling, to say the least. So when trying to work collaboratively in a group and we're essentially being dismissed with our concerns, it's been quite frustrating. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And along with that, is there, if you were to gauge a percentage of the competitions that have been lost because there's lack of realignment, would you say it's 80%, 20%, or?
No, I definitely, it's less than 20%, but that's still a big number to us. I would say it's, when we talk lower level contests, I think, and it varies by sport. So to, throw a blanket 10% out there, for instance, I don't think would necessarily be fair, but we've seen a drastic drop as many as, or as much as 25% in some sports. Girls basketball is a prime example this year. We lost a number of contests at the freshman level from schools that were not able to field teams, and sometimes showed up and didn't tell us they wouldn't have a B team until they got there. And so we would have parents driving to these games and kind of stuck and frustrated. And so then I end up on the hot seat on that too. So amusing.
And I assume conversation with the upstate, they're aware of these roadblocks, so to speak. And
absolutely.
Are willing to not have those occur.
Yeah, and there's no
possible.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that somebody might not have, less participation in a given year or something like that. But when we look at the levels that are lost in the SPC versus levels that might be lost, let's say, I don't know, I'm gonna just pull one up so I can accurately see it. Girls volleyball, for instance. And I know that was a bone of contention. Mrs. Dykstra put me on the hot seat quite a bit with that one. And I come several years later with my tail between my legs. So she was absolutely right on that. And so in the Southwest Prairie, they have 4 levels of girls volleyball. In the Upstate 8, they have 5. So we've essentially lost the sophomore level of girls volleyball moving into that conference. Now, in some cases, we might see maybe a given school doesn't have a freshman B, but we could, having that extra sophomore level, we can manipulate that on our end a little bit to give kids opportunities to participate, a lot easier than we would otherwise in the SPC. We can be a lot more creative this way.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any further questions?
I just have a follow-up. When you mentioned that it's games lost, it's not games that we lost as a contest, it's games that we were unable to play
Correct.
because
Correct.
no one was available.
Correct. Big distinction there.
I applaud you for finding a solution.
Are there any other further questions or comments? Hearing none, Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Stone? Aye. Mr. St. Jules?
Yes.
Mrs. Saberston?
Aye.
Mr. Lathan?
Aye.
Mrs. Dykstra?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Kearns?
Aye, the motion passes. We need a motion for action item 4.4.
I recommend the Board of Education approve the use of agreement between the City of Aurora and FH Passion regarding job order contracting and construction for summer of 2023. Construction projects for classroom expansion and modification at West Aurora High School, subject to administration review of final proposal.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Saberston?
Aye.
Mr. St. Jules?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone? Aye. Mr. Lathan?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mrs. Dykstra?
Aye.
Mr. Kearns?
Aye, the motion passes. We need a motion for action item 4.5.
I move that the Board of Education approve the appointment of Dr. Jeff Craig as President Pro Tem for a special organizational meeting that will immediately follow this regular meeting until there is a newly elected Board of Education President.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Stone? Aye. Mr. St. Jules?
Yes.
Mrs. Saperston? Aye. Mr. Lathan?
Aye.
Mrs. Dykstra?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Kearns?
Aye, the motion passes. And finally, action item 4.6.
Yes, I move that the Board of Education name the upcoming student-based health facility the Jeff Craig Family Resource Center.
And I am happy to second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes, I have some comments if you don't mind, Fred.
Go ahead.
I'd just like to thank those that participated in this very special process. We know we have Alex Alexandru, Nate Wendell from DNA Healthcare, Michael Isaacson from Kane County Health, Dr. Angela Smith, and Board Member Valerie Dykstra. Thank you so much for being part of the meeting.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Lathan?
Aye.
Mrs. Saperston?
Aye.
Mr. St. Jules? Mrs. Stone?
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mrs. Dykstra?
Aye.
Mr. Kearns?
Aye, the motion passes. I'd like to turn it over to Mrs. Gonzalez.
Yes, forgive the interruption, but I see that we have some guests with us today. So in light of action item 4.6 and the naming of the Jeff Craig Family Resource Center, I was hoping we could pause for a picture. But before we do, Dr. Craig, would you like to say your comments before our picture?
Sure.
All right.
I'll be nice to you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Maybe introduce your family that's here too.
It's possible. I can remember all their names. So, about a month ago, when this original proposal happened, and we had the parade of guests come in from outside, they got me. Certainly was surprised. And then when my wife proceeded to lead in a large chunk of my family tonight, they got me again. So it's only fair that I introduce them and have them stand and be recognized, have a 3-minute speech each. So I want to recognize my wife, Mary. Gotta give a little hi-ho. My mother, Connie. Our daughter, Jessie. Her husband, Nick. And my son, Joe. So I too would like to thank Dr. Angie Smith for proposing this opportunity. Would also like to thank, and Linnea is here, she's the Executive Director, CEO, President, Queen of VNA. Thank you for being here. The Chief of Staff from the City of Aurora, Alex Alexandru, our Executive Director of the Fox Valley Park District, Jim Comer, and the Executive Director of the Kane County Health Department, Michael Isaacson, for endorsing this. And then thanking Mr. Bob Gonzalez and Mrs. Valerie Dykstra for chairing this committee. And I do as much as I want to kid about it. I am honored that you would think highly enough to put my name on that facility. But I'm more honored that we're getting this project to completion, where we'll be able to serve the students and families of the West Aurora School District for a long time coming. This is something that's greatly needed in our community, whether it's for immunizations, physicals, food insecurities, dental, social, emotional, mental health concerns, vision concerns, all those pieces that just went on unchecked. This provides that opportunity for our students and staff to get our kids back in those classrooms, which is where they belong, in front of our high quality teachers. So I am honored. I will do my very best to uphold that, and now then we just got to get past the finish line and make sure we get it open for next year. So thank you. Sure.
All right.
We now come to our public comment section. When the secretary calls your name, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the public record, and provide your feedback. Please note that comments are limited to 3 minutes per person, and that no discussion of personnel matters, student discipline, or responses to questions are permitted. The board does not participate in the discussion during public comment. Follow-up to your questions and concerns will be addressed through the contact information provided on the comment card. When addressing the microphone, please hold to our public conduct policy. Mrs. Secretary, please call the first name.
Erica Garcia.
Hello, my name is Erica Garcia. I am a resident of Aurora and 974 Wedgewood Lane in Aurora, 60506. I am also a proud West Aurora alumni. I grew up in low-income housing and helped my parents translate school documents at a very young age. And despite this, I became a first-generation college graduate and later pursued a master's in school social work. I currently work at Hergen Middle School as the only school social worker, and I sit on a couple of nonprofit boards, including the Illinois Association of School Social Workers, which is the largest school social work organization in the country, sorry. In March of this year, you all approved the district's recommendation to not rehire me for the next school year. And at the time of my summative review, my primary evaluator, who is Assistant Director for Special Education, offered to write me a letter of recommendation. The district prides
Excuse me,
itself.
we
Yes.
can't talk about personnel matters.
Okay, sorry, the rest is not included. The district prides itself in the diverse cultural and ethnic backgrounds of our students, and we even created an educational equity committee dedicated to ensuring that we have culturally responsive instruction and trained staff, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I have been very vocal about the lack of support that we are providing students regarding mental health and other social and emotional learning standards. According to this educational equity audit led by Dr. Valerie McCall, one recommendation that has yet to be addressed and is planned to in the future is that we need to, and I quote, examine the reasons why more students who are both Black or Hispanic and are part of a special population, which includes English learners, students with an IEP, and or receive free or reduced lunch, are overrepresented in certain categories such as retention, and are the largest group of students that to be disciplined, end quote. When I started last year, all I heard was students' social skills were severely affected by the global pandemic, and specifically their lack of socialization. I was surprised at how we didn't have systems in place to help support our students in this area, because this was something that was widely anticipated. 2 years later, we still have no multi-tiered systems of support, or MTSS, for social and emotional needs. We have no tier 1 social or emotional curriculum for our teachers. And I'm gonna repeat that. Students are not receiving any explicit universal social or emotional lessons in the middle school setting. We direly need more mental health support in our schools. These last 2 years, I have developed some of the best relationships with my students and their families. The students that go to Herget are some of the most empathetic, resilient, and wise teenagers that I have ever met. I absolutely wholeheartedly love my students and my job. I see myself in those students, and I admit the job was extremely difficult, as you can imagine, but it is,
Excuse me, Ms. Garcia, your time is expired.
thank you.
Kayleen Thomas. Patricia Santana.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Patricia Santana. I have 3 daughters. little daughter, she's in Harriet School, her name is Camila. And I having a really hard time with helping my daughter with her mental health. This is all very new to me, and it is very difficult to help her because I don't know how much about mental health. I want to release there are children need more mental care support in the district. We need more support with the social workers and the mental health. We need help for parents like me that don't know how much about mental health and then how to help my students. And I know you're gonna say this is personal, but my daughter, she went to kill herself, so she needs more help. And then she's in the clinic right now, an outpatient, doing few hours in the clinic, and then go to the Harvard School, like for hours. I think it's a lot of kids passing for this, and parents, we don't know how to support kids, and it's very sad. So we need help, really. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karina Lucio. Alejandra Montenegro. Latanya Johnson. That's it.
Thank you. We now come to our superintendent comments.
As I shared 2 weeks ago with the early childhood and elementary, I want to share just some pieces of our secondary that we're extremely proud of as well. And I'll start at the middle school, where we've expanded, enriched, and talented programming in each of our 4 middle schools, which allows for more student access and courses at a higher level. In 2019-2020, approximately 26% of our 6th grade students were enrolled in enrichment science. Next year, we anticipate that the number is rising to 42%. And we're seeing similar trends in our language arts program. In 2019-2020, approximately 24% of the students were enrolled in ET language arts. Next year, we anticipate that number rising to 38%. Our ability to place more students in ET is based on changes to our identification process that allows us to be more inclusive of students that show readiness for additional academic rigor. We've restructured our math curriculum, which has led to a significant increase in the number of students that take algebra and geometry while it's still in middle school. In addition, as part of this work, our goal was to increase the number of students that enter high school in Algebra 1 or higher. Next year, approximately 80% of our 9th grade students will enter West High in Algebra 1 or higher. Recent curricular improvements in all content areas encourage students to think and learn at high levels. You have seen evidence of this as part of our secondary school updates during the April 3 and May 1 board meetings. These changes are designed to make students' thinking visible and to push all students academically. Currently, School District 129 ranks number 73 among the best school districts for athletes according to Niche. West High boasts 25 varsity sports and 64 after-school clubs. And beyond high school, our educational services for the learning disabled, behaviorally disordered, and autistic students are extended to the age of 22 through our transition program, of which we have 5 different programs in 2 different facilities. We're really super proud of what we're accomplishing at the secondary level. So I appreciate the time to share that.
Thank you. Now I'd like to turn it over to our new student board members for their comments.
Hi, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for this opportunity to be here, and I can't wait to see what good and what change the 3 of us can bring. So thank you. So one of the awesome end of school year events that we are doing at the high school is the reinvention of Student Council, and we're kind of riding the wave of excitement for the end of the school year, and we are trying to represent all of the student voices at West, which means we are taking at least 1 student from every activity and bring them into Student Council, as well as anyone else who would like to join the student body. And we're hoping to bring the West community together and better the community for all of our students for us.
Hi, my name is Ellie Rogoski. I just want to say thank you to the board and anybody else who helped get all of us here. I'm super excited for this year and to see what we can accomplish.
Me personally, I'm someone who's really involved with the fine arts aspect of West Aurora, so what I wanted to touch on is just our spring concerts that recently happened over the past 2 weeks, and with all of our concert bands, our jazz bands, and our choir. The main theme throughout all three was recognizing the seniors and their longstanding contributions to those programs. I attended all 3 concerts. I thought they all went really well. I'm really thankful for all the seniors, and I'm excited to see what those programs can do in the next year.
Hi, I'm Maya Ludiza, and I want to thank everyone for this opportunity, and I'm very excited to see how this next year is going to go. I wanted to touch on the sport events that are going on currently at West. As the spring season comes to an end, we're seeing many senior nights. We had a softball senior night last week. Tonight there is a baseball senior night, and upcoming we have a volleyball senior night. So it kind of just shows that our season is really coming to an end here as the school year does. Our bass fishing team is doing very well. They had a 5 out of 15 finish at one of their last competitions. And then as the year comes to a close, it just gives more opportunities for the new year to begin. Like dancing, cheerleading, both have had tryouts, and a lot of the other fall sports are beginning camps like football and starting team meetings like girls tennis. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to turn it over to our board members for their comments.
I just want to say welcome to the 3 of you. I know we all look forward to hearing from you guys and getting to know you over the next year. I also wanted to say thank you, congratulations to Mr. Gonzalez for his years of service to the district. I appreciate it as a member of the community.
I don't know if I should go from the high note to the low note or the high note to a higher note. First of all, congratulations, Mr. Gonzalez. You've done a tremendous job, and as it was pointed out earlier, you've left us in a better place than when you started, which is fantastic. Dr. Hiscock, congratulations for Kane County Educator of the Year. Congratulations to the students of West Aurora High School who get to benefit from your experience and all that you have provided. Congratulations to Dr. Craig, who I've been sitting next to for, seems like decades, but it hasn't been decades yet. But it's been a pleasure, and you truly do deserve the naming, and I'm certain you will never, ever, ever, ever let us down. And again, congratulations to the students who are now student board members. Enjoy the year, enjoy the experience.
I just want to say congratulations to you new student board members and Dr. Hiscock for your recognition and honor. I have a little speech here, but at first I'd really like to thank my lovely wife for writing all my notes down. I give her ideas and she just goes with it. But I really first like to thank Mrs. Circuit for bringing me into the role as a board member, which I have enjoyed thoroughly for the past 12 years. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Dr. Craig, as well as his entire staff, the community, and all the board members for supporting me over the years. Thank you. I have been very honored to work alongside Dr. Craig, his staff, and the board, past and present, in making many positive changes in addition to our West Aurora students, as well as seeing how this group of individuals, myself included, rallied together to implement educational and nutritional needs for the most challenging time of our lifetime when hit by the COVID pandemic. As I finish my years of service to 129, I leave feeling that West Aurora is in excellent hands. Thank you.
I want to welcome our new board members. I think you'll find it an interesting experience. It may be difficult, but I think you will learn how government works, and you can decide if it's something you wish to pursue in the future. Congratulations to Dr. Hiscock on being named Educator of the Year. We're so blessed to have you as our principal for at least one more year. Also, congratulations to Dr. Butcher for being named the Elementary Educator of the Year from West Aurora. And
Mr. Gonzalez, you welcomed me here. You were the first one to welcome me to the board when I came on 10 years ago. And if you know me, you know I'm a crier. I will cry about anything. But it was an honor to work with you the last 10 years. And I'm gonna cry, and then I'm gonna make you cry, and I'll make everyone else cry, and we'll all cry together. But it truly has been an honor to serve with you, and we are blessed to have had you in this district. Enjoy your time with Kenda. I'm sure she's very happy to have you back on Monday nights. So I treasure your friendship.
Don't give me that look, Mr. Gonzalez. No. It doesn't work that way anymore. I'll save you for later on. Welcome, student board members. I look forward to hearing from you and working with you. This will be a great year, I promise. On Wednesday, we had the opportunity to celebrate all the wonderful things happening at the Weissner Center again. And one of the young students that spoke really touched me, as he has an interesting path that's like many of our students. He didn't think he was going to graduate. He didn't think he was a high school graduate material. And it wasn't until he took one of those classes and he came upon his teacher, Mr. Williams, who believed in him, who saw something in him that he didn't see in himself. And it shows the impact that our teachers have and our staff have on our students. That young man now has a career, supporting himself and contributing to his family. And that is amazing. Mr. Loftus is another teacher at the Weissner Center who has touched his students. For the fact that we have grown that program, and if I correct Dr. Craig, we started with 20 students in welding. 23, and we now have 155 students in 4 short years. Those numbers are incredible, and it shows the fantastic, phenomenal things that are happening in West Aurora that are not just educationally based. We are giving our students careers and opportunities they never thought possible. I'd like to congratulate all the honorees that or the retirees that we honored this morning at breakfast. Anna, your team put together a Bon Voyage event that would make Martha Stewart proud. It is unbelievable. Kudos to you and your team for the hard work that they put into that. I'd like to congratulate the staff at the Early Learning Academy for the spring fling that they held. Dr. Klumhouse had given me some numbers. They had served 1,100 Kona Ices. So they're anticipating that there were over 1,100 people there. They had over 800 entries in their raffle baskets. And those events don't come put together on a whim. Their staff has worked together for 6 months to build the community relationships between the community and our school. And that speaks volumes. So thank you, Dr. Klumhouse, and all of the staff at the Early Learning Academy, even though they're not here. Mr. Gonzalez, you might be giving me that smirky look, but I know deep down inside, you have been an amazing mentor. An even more amazing leader. And someone I'm proud to call my friend.
I also want to thank and and congratulate the King County educators and Dr. Hiscock here this evening. A lot of people might not know about that award, but that is, of all of King County, Dr. Hiscock won that. And that is saying something amazing of your tenure and what you've done at West and who you are and your character. So thank you. Also to Dr. Craig, similar note there of this facility that we're gonna be having here, hopefully this fall opening up. That has been, you've championed this for a long, long time. And it is really awesome to see this come to fruition and finally see the light of day and really impact our district. So I'm very thankful and proud to be West Aurora School District 129 to be able to have this. So thank you for your hard work. And this, just like everything else we've talked about, doesn't happen just on a whim. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of diligence, a lot of jumping through hoops and moving around hoops that get in the way. And so thank you for all your diligence on that. Also to our student board members, congratulations, and we look forward to working with you here this next year. It's gonna be an awesome year, your senior year. Enjoy it, soak it in. It's gonna go fast. And believe it or not, you're gonna be here last board meeting where the student board members are off and gone. So enjoy your year. And then finally, Mr. Gonzalez, thank you so much for all that you've done for our board, for our community, for your friendship. And thankfully that's not gonna end tonight. And look forward to continuing that and enjoy your time with Kenda. And with that, are there any other questions or comments?
I did forget to say, Dr. Craig, I'm so happy that we were able to honor you in this manner. You mentioned this project 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought, what a fabulous idea that we could have this here. And it's very fitting that it's named after you, and that you fought for this so very hard. And it's a true honor for you that our students will know, even after you leave next year, that you thought of their mental, physical, and emotional health. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, go ahead.
Saving the best for last, I'd really like to thank, and I know she's gonna love me for this, our board secretary, Joanne. Over the years, especially one board president, keeping in shape and knowing when to go and when to be. Thank you so much.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move we adjourn from open meeting.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Mrs. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Stone. Aye. Mr. St. Jules.
Yes.
Mrs. Saperson. Aye. Mr. Layton.
Aye.
Mrs. Dykstra.
Aye.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Mr. Kearns.
Aye, the regular West Aurora School Board meeting has adjourned. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 5th. And following this, we'll have our special